guys, my name is Matthew.
Christian, what's going on, everyone?
This is Racing Through Life. It's a podcast hosted by OpenRace, and OpenRace is a real-time virtual running app striving to connect and motivate runners as well as help event organizers increase revenue, reach a larger audience, and provide a more interactive virtual race.
Yeah, and this is Racing Through Life, our podcast. We're trying to brand more than just like a fitness tech app. We have a blog going on, this podcast. We're really trying to take a deep dive into the running industry. We found no one was doing that. We want to get the lives of all these different amazing athletes, see what they're doing on and off the field, the way they prepare, just to give our audience a better idea of how hard these athletes actually work. And a lot of them are incredible athletes, incredible people. And we have an absolute great guest, Gia Trevisan, Italian. Trevisan, thank you for the backup. 4x400 meter relay, 400 meters. She's training for the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo. She's an incredible athlete. Just moved from California. She's California native to Florida. Settling in there, and she had a great story.
Yeah, welcome her to the podcast.
Welcome. Cheers.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Great.
Actually, nice day out. Weather actually, surprisingly, in Canada, it's been like summer. The past 2 days have been like 20, 21.
20, 18s, high teens.
Which is nuts. We should not have that weather right now. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. How's Florida?
It's good. So there's a storm passing through Miami right now.
Ooh.
So I live in Orlando, but it's just been like raining, but it's like 80 degrees.
Wow.
I want to be out. I wish I was in like Florida, and then you're from Cali. So the weather for you, wherever you go, it's just beautiful, eh?
Yeah. In California right now, it's like 55 degrees. Everybody's like complaining.
Wow.
Tough life.
What's that in Celsius? Like
That's, I think that's 20.
no.
I think so.
So 20 is like 70 degrees.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, so that's actually like pretty.
10 then.
It's like 10. That's actually pretty cold then, kind of.
Yeah.
So damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty sweet. How was the moving process for you? Are you like settled in pretty well? How's Florida?
Yeah, I've settled in. Like, Florida's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't really done anything because I got here on a Saturday and we started practice on a Monday. But it's like a new group, new coach, everything. So just trying to adjust. I mean, I adjust pretty quickly, so it's been fine.
That's great. Yeah. Speaking of adjusting quickly, did you grow up in Italy and then move over?
No. So my dad's Italian.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had citizenship like my whole life with like the US and Italy. But when I was in college, I never really had interest in like doing track after school.
Wow.
I just wanted to do it for school, and I originally played soccer, so track wasn't like my passion.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of school, I started running well. So I was like, hey, maybe I should reach out to the federation and see, what the opportunities are like. And so when I graduated, I went over and ran at like basically Olympic trials for Italy in 2016.
Nice.
I didn't make the final. I came in 9th in the 400. So I was the first one out.
Aww.
Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like keep doing this.
Yeah.
I felt like there was so much room for growth. And now, like, I think a year later, I ended up making the national team. And so it was like a good process up until then. And now it feels like I've reached another point where it's like I have to have another breakthrough.
That's awesome. That's great. So how'd you get into running? First of all, you said, like, did soccer kind of get you into running? Tell us about the sports you played growing up and you kind of transitioned into running and track.
So my parents never like put me in sports, and I ended up playing like soccer at recess one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you guys put me in this? And they were like, well, we didn't want you to start too young. Because I think, in my opinion, sometimes I think parents go a little crazy.
Yeah.
And they start their kid when they're like 6, and they don't really have any other options, or you know what I mean. So they just didn't put me in anything. And so I started playing soccer probably when I was like 12, which is like
Nice.
17.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was always like the fastest one on the field. And so I really wanted to play soccer in college, but I ended up tearing my ACL and my meniscus when I was like 16. And my mom was just like, look, if you keep playing, you'll probably tear it again. So
Yeah.
why don't you just try track? Like, you're fast, you know? So started doing track, and I didn't start emailing colleges until I graduated high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so my recruiting process was much different. And I think now people really feel like I need to be recruited when I'm like a junior.
Yeah.
But not really true. Like, there's a lot of coaches who make last minute decisions. And I think coaches purposely will leave 1 or 2 or 3 spots open for those last minute decisions. So I emailed like Cal Poly SLO, and then Berkeley, and I think like some school in San Diego, like UCSD, I can't remember. And I ended up visiting Berkeley and SLO, and my dad went to Berkeley, so I really wanted to go there. So I ended up going there, and this was like in August. Well, no, wait, in July I visited, and then like a month later I was going to school.
Cool.
But the program just wasn't for me. And I ended up transferring to Arizona after 2 years. But yeah, that was like a tangent, but pretty much it started with soccer. And then when I got injured, it was like, okay, track is like not an injury preventive sport, but you don't see a lot of like ACL tears or stuff like that.
Yeah, not a lot of quick like lateral movements.
Also, I feel like every interview we have, that's what someone says. Like, they didn't start in track. They started in like in another sport, like football. Who was it? I think it was Menteo. Who started off, he wanted to be like an NFL football, like wide receiver, really good. He had the scholarships to like some top tier schools. I don't know if it was Notre Dame or whatever. He gets injured, hurt his hand, doesn't like loses his scholarship and stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm fast. I'm gonna do track. And I feel like everyone has that story where they didn't start off going like to track clubs. Do you know what I mean? They just kind of started off like because they realized they were fast and they went into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of how track starts, unless your parents ran track and they're like, okay, you're doing track, you know.
Yeah.
And I also feel that parents nowadays, like, I don't know, like, I just think parents nowadays are more so they want to put their kids in like stuff very young when they're like 6 and 7, but they don't know. And once they get to college, it's like they're burned out. Do you know what I mean? Like they lost the love for it. So now it's more so I'm just doing this. I don't actually love what I'm doing.
Yeah, I had a lot of teammates like that in college. Like, they did youth track and they started when they were like 6 or 7. And when they got to college, they were just like, yeah, I'm so done with this. And my coach now, his son like is an assistant coach with us. And he's like, yeah, I've been like doing track since I was 6. Like, he was like, you couldn't pay me to come back and do this.
Yeah, but that's like true. I feel like when you're so young and like you're going to like every weekend you're taking up because you're like training and stuff like that, you kind of
it's not any sport.
Any sport. Yeah, it doesn't have to be track. It could be like you're playing like football, hockey, soccer. Like, you lose like being a kid. You know, at the end of the day, like, you lose like, I don't know, like certain like making friends, like having fun and stuff like that, because you're just focused on I'm gonna go to D1. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how was it growing up in like California? Just like tell us about your childhood there. Did you do a lot of like things growing up? Any funny stories?
I will say like California, in my opinion, is the best state.
That's where I want to go. Straight up.
Like, I was talking to someone from Florida the other day, and they're just like, oh, California, but you guys have all those earthquakes. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys have hurricanes, and you know.
Yeah, it's a good point. They have like, it's pretty dangerous still, like down east.
Yeah, like Kansas has tornadoes. Like state has something, but like it's, so I went to Mater Dei High School. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Heard of the football team from there, right?
Yeah.
A really good football team.
Yeah, it's a super, super competitive sports high school.
Okay.
Academically, like it's pretty good too, but there's better options out there.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, if you like basically our football team was a feeder school for USC.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So many people went to USC, and it was just a really competitive environment. And so that's kind of like what I grew up around. And so I'm a really competitive person outside of sports as well. And
Gotcha.
yeah, like if I see somebody got like a gig or they got this, I'm like, oh my God, like I could have done that, you know? But yeah, I would say California is like a mix between competitive and like chill. And at least where I grew up, it was like a lot of surfing, and you know, I would go to the beach basically in the summer at least, like all day, every day, and that's all I did in high
I'm so
school.
jealous. Like just hearing that like makes me like jealous. I'm like shit.
So you guys are in college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Toronto's like a big city. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like,
but it's just like a city, you know?
yeah, it's just a city.
The beach is a whole different game.
I
And I think everyone like maybe if you grow up around it, like then you would be
It becomes
like, oh,
just
it's
like
a
home.
beach. But like when
Yeah.
you grow up around like the city, it's like, oh, it's just
Oh,
a
it's
city.
just
But like
city, yeah.
people want to go to like where they haven't been before.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I feel like that's what I guess we're feeling. Yeah.
Also, you said you were a surfer. I'm just hitting me again. You said so you surfed a lot and now you're afraid?
So when I was, you know, like when you're a kid, you see kids like playing in the ocean at like night, you know, but as an adult, you would never do that. And so
yeah,
I think it's just like, I wasn't afraid of like wiping out or anything like that, but I went surfing like a month ago, and I'm like paddling and I look back at the wave and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so big. So then I like back out. But I think it's just I'm not as used to it as I was as a kid. And also when I was a kid, like my dad was out there like pushing me into the wave and helping me. But I don't know. I think it's just a habit and I'm not used to it. Yeah, but I mean, if in my like altered dreams, I would want to be like a pro surfer instead of track.
really?
Yeah, they have such a cool life. Like you just travel and
Surf.
go to different countries and surf. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's also pretty similar, I guess, just because like now you're on the beach and like you're gonna be in the water, like that's your like competitions. But it's the same principle with like track though. You like travel like I feel like track and runners, they travel all over for their meets, like especially they go to like Europe and stuff. So everyone we've talked to has like so many places. They've seen like the whole world, and they're so young still. They're like, you know, like mid-20s, early 20s. They're like, so like I feel like there's so much traveling for what you do as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I think it was 2000. Well, this year track was like, but 2015, I went to like Paris for track, and I went to, I mean, Poland's like, it's cool, but I went to Poland and like all over Europe. And then last year we had world relays in Japan, which was
That's sick.
really awesome. Yeah, like I really hope Tokyo happens because we had world relays in Yokohama, which is like an hour from Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Japanese are just so polite, and the meet was run so well, and it was just like a really good experience. And so if it were canceled, I heard they will not do Tokyo again. So I was just like, oh my God.
You really want to? Yeah, I think it'll go through. Like I'm like everyone's like hoping. You know what I mean? No one wants like anything canceled. But what's your favorite place you've ever been to? Like traveling wise, there's one place that you just like you loved.
It's pretty cliche, but I love Paris.
Okay, why?
Why? Yeah.
There's just so much to do, and it's like beautiful everywhere. They have a ton of museums. I don't know if you guys are into museums, but they have like a ton of museums, like a ton of different areas for different like photos. I don't know. It was just awesome. Like I went there for a training camp, and I was only there for a week, but I easily could have been there for a month.
Wow. Oh wow! So you didn't even want to leave?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
That's sick. I get for me, like for us, like where's the best place you've been?
Italy.
Yeah, mine would be Italy. Yeah, mine's Italy too. We both went on the same trip for a month. We did like a school extracurricular or
English, like in a grade 12 English class. We went.
What cities did you go to?
We went like all over. Like we went and started.
Venice. I think we started in Verona and then went to Venice.
No, Rome. I thought we started.
No, we didn't start in Rome. We landed in Rome and then we went. Yeah, we just basically went south. So we went like Rome, Florence, Tuscany. We did the last 2 weeks in Calabria.
Yeah.
We went to like Capri, Sicily.
I like Tuscany. That's the one I liked. Yeah.
I like Calabria. My mom's from Calabria.
South of Rome. So I've heard that like south of Italy is like amazing. So I do want to go there one day.
Yeah, Calabria was so nice. And Capri too. Is Capri south of Rome?
Yeah.
The island was so
that was a pretty nice. Capri's pretty nice.
We weren't allowed to go swimming, but we just all went.
I didn't.
You didn't go?
I was the one that didn't go, and I was watching everyone's stuff, and I was just talking to these two kids, these Italian kids, man. I had no idea what they were saying to me, and I felt so bad. No, so they're just like looking at me like I for sure looked like a tourist just laying on the beach like trying to tan. The parents are just like watching them like come talk to me. I'm like, hi, and like went on a bucket and they were just like putting rocks in the bucket, so I started like helping them. I was just putting the rocks in the bucket with them. Like I didn't know what to do, and you guys were all swimming, so I was like, these are my friends now for the hour, man. No, I like Italy. I think Italy's good because I'm not a big I'm not like the guy that likes to travel and like I'm not really a big museum guy. Like I don't care so much about history. Like I like the beach, like sun, tan, like sports on the beach. Like that's what I like. And I like Italy's got a good blend of I feel like history and like you can go on the beach, the water's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like is that a good way to describe it? Like scenery to history ratio. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Scenery to history ratio. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your another random Italian based question? What's your favorite Italian dish?
Pizza. Like.
Okay. Well, what kind? Just like a margarita.
No, margarita's not my favorite. There's this one called it's like a Sicilian base.
Okay.
So it's got it's kind of spicy, but it's cheesy, and I hate thick pizza. Yeah. I love
thin crust. Yeah, I think that's the best way to eat pizza. But that's just me. Yeah. What's your favorite dish?
Like a maintenance guy just came. So
no worries. No worries at all.
We didn't even hear it.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Favorite Italian dish, I'd say I like pizza too, and the thin crust is amazing, but I'm going to go penne alla vodka.
Same. I knew you were going to say that's my favorite too. I'm a huge penne alla vodka.
Dessert? Just a gelato, I think.
Okay, what flavor? You like weird flavors though.
I like, I want to say the Italian, fregola and lemon, so
limon.
Yeah, mix.
Have you ever had a cannoli?
Yes.
Yeah. My favorite.
My whole family's Italian, so like my grandparents are no from Italy.
I'm only half, so I'm not like that special. He's more special than me.
He's half Portuguese too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, nice.
See, that's not the lot of responses I get. Is like, oh, it's more so like dry when people hear like they're like, oh, so you're Italian? I'm like half, and they're like, oh, it's the other half of Portuguese. Like, okay, and then they usually just like walk away or something. It's okay. Yeah, but no, I like the Italian. Like I like the Italian, like to be honest, side a lot better than the Portuguese side. Like that's just like my personal opinion. But gelato, I like the Nutella, like the Ferrero Rocher one. That's it. That one's my favorite. I love chocolate. But that one's so good. That's my favorite. Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite?
There's this treat called Pocket Coffee, and it's by Ferrero, and it's dark chocolate, and then inside is espresso.
Oh wow! And that's like
so a chocolate. It's like espresso. It's like liquid, so you have to like eat the whole thing. But it's so
You would love that.
That'd be
You would
unreal.
love that. He loves his espresso. You would love that.
That'd be so
Yeah,
good.
you can try to find it on Amazon. It's called Pocket Coffee.
Pocket coffee.
Pocket coffee? I'm writing that
Yeah.
down actually. Pocket. Is there like a brand, or is that like
It's
that's
fair.
the?
It's like
Oh, it's for yeah.
FERR.
Yeah.
Pocket coffee. That'd be good. That would be really good, actually.
Yeah, it's really good. I tried to find it on Amazon in the States and they don't sell it. So every time I go, I just like buy it. But they might have it in Canada. I don't know.
Another random, we're on the Italian topic, like everything just coming to me. There's like a myth, not a myth. Do you think that, or like a saying, or not a saying, I don't know what I'm saying, but that the Nutella in Italy is better than the Nutella like back home? Do you believe that?
So the Nutella brand, it's like they put other stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, like every food item is better in Europe or Italy in general.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if I don't know like the preservatives that they put in it, but definitely Nutella in Italy is probably better.
Yeah, like, and I think so too. Like when we had it, like that's what we were told. Like having the Nutella, like that was like something like our friends and family said was having Nutella. When we had it, it was like
I didn't taste a massive difference.
Yeah,
like I have Nutella like every day.
He had every day, every single day. No, he's serious.
I'm serious.
No, I wish we were joking. He has it every day.
Oh my gosh, like eat it for breakfast?
Yeah,
every day.
Like I mean in a sandwich, not just like spoons, but yeah.
Well, I'm a little, so he's been doing that since you were a kid.
Yeah, every like basically my whole like
entire life, whole life.
Like peanut
and
butter
then
Nutella.
I always had Nutella, but I do like peanut butter Nutella and like a tortilla. Like that, I think that's like, that's good.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything, any other, like, when's the last time you've been to Italy?
Well, I usually go every summer for like 2 to 3 months. I was going to go this year and race, but this year I was like dealing with some injuries and I was I got kind of lucky in a way, but I did race this past year and it did not go well. I think I'm somebody who's always like, I'm going to do this no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely learned that if you aren't ready to race or you have like an issue that's preventing you from like going fast, then you should probably just hold back, unless you're at like the Olympic final or like world championship final, then yeah, go race, you know what I mean? But there was like nothing at stake this year. And I mean, World Athletics even declared like races all the way up until like December 31st, 2020 don't count towards anything. So like even if you ran an Olympic standard this year, it wouldn't have counted. So I was sort of like, I could have gone there and raced, but I also would have had to quarantine for 14 days. And like, when you do that, what's the point? And I asked my agent, I was like, are they being strict? Like, can I go to the track? And he was like, no, like you could go to jail. If you are outside and like you don't have like documentation that you quarantine, then like you could go to jail. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. But so the last time I went to Italy was in 2019. I think I was there for like 8 weeks, and then since World Championships was so late last year, I came back for 3 weeks and then trained, and then I went straight to Doha from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow, that's pretty sick. In regards to like, I guess like dealing, now that we're like on the topic of like racing and kind of like how everything's been kind of like put to a halt, how has like your training, I guess, like been affected since like COVID and stuff like that? I guess like training, your whole mentality about like racing and running.
Well, when it first happened, so in Los Angeles, we went into like lockdown. At the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and Europe was like in January and February. And like, I sort of was like, you know what, like this doesn't count for anything. Why should I take training seriously?
Mm-hmm.
But then I like talked to my husband about it, and he was just like, you need to find like a different perspective that's like, this is good training. Because, you know, like training age is a thing. And so it's like, what you're doing this year, the year before, it all builds on top of each other. And so, like, for example, one year maybe we focus a lot on speed, and then the next year we just focus on fitness, and like the two will come together and they'll meet, you know. And so this year, like with my old coach, we really focused on like high volume for a 400-meter runner, and like a lot of strength based stuff. And so I started looking at it from like, okay, this is like time for me to master like something down, you know, something really specific. Like when you sprint, you want your elbow to come back nice and high, right? And so I was like focusing on that a lot. And so I started like shifting my perspective to, this is all really good training. We've never had time like this before.
Yeah.
Usually on like a crunch timeline. And so when I started like shifting towards that, I looked at it like more positively. And then, you know, my coach, he quit like a month or two ago. And he called like 6 of us and just told us like, I'm done coaching and like going on forward with my life. And I was with him for like 3 years, and I dropped my 400 like more than half a second with him. So I was pretty disappointed. And then, but I kind of was like, you know, this could lead to like an open door somewhere else. And it brought me to Florida with like a new group and a new coach. And the people in this group here, one of them's like a former world champion in the 400. Yeah. And it's like a really competitive group. And so now I'm sort of just like going into training with like a blank canvas, you know, and I really think sometimes we kind of have to operate from like a beginner mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of entering it into like with an ego where you're like, I know how to do this. And you know what I mean? And like, if you approach everything that way, then you're not really going to grow or learn from something.
You're not going to learn at all because you're already closing off what like people are going to tell you. I already know this, so to speak. I agree with that. I've never like thought of it like that before.
Yeah. So, and like even with like the thought in the back of my head, like the Olympics could be canceled or anything like that. It's just like, right now it's way too early to even think about that. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, I'm trying to like approach training every day with like a fresh mindset and like learning from the girls and the women around me, you know, like the people I'm training with have like been places I haven't been and where I want to go, you know?
I like that the mentality, so to speak. Like obviously like we're not in the same like boat of you in regards to like training for something like the Olympics and having that like potentially taken away, but you're still like, that's your craft, right? Like you still got to go to work every day and work and train. But for us with like COVID, I feel like, I guess like college students and stuff like that at the start, at least it was very like negative. Everyone was shooting it down like, oh, COVID sucks, like we should be spending these years, you know, like having fun partying. But I think from like at least my perspective, you can come in after, I think this has been like such a good time, and I'm like embracing kind of like the whole COVID and like pandemic, because for us, like we were, you know, this was able, like OpenRace is able to like start and like take off, and I've been able to focus like on myself, like we were working out, like I was working out more, and I think it was a good time like for my life to kind of like sit back and kind of just focus on me. Because like the world's like, I like a pause and I can like focus and I can still like go up, and like that's like been my experience with the whole pandemic. But like it does suck sometimes because like you want to see like certain friends in like bigger groups, but like obviously like can't. But I feel like eventually it's just like people working hard right now to be successful like in like a year or two. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like that awkward time where you just got to like work on yourself and like be the best you can be, and it'll pay off.
Yeah. And people will also like appreciate it more when it's all
100%
and open.
100%.
Yeah,
oh my, like when is it? I even think sometimes like when like I'll just think like before bed, like when is it going to become like normalized to like shake someone's hand again? Like seriously, like you know what I mean? Or like to ask someone like, yeah, to shake your hand. Like when are people going to be like, oh, like I'm like I'm not comfortable with it. Like that's like a thing that's such a common gesture that I don't know when that's going to be able to come back and be like normal, which is weird to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess how was the transition? I want to take it a little bit back. Was the transition going from California to Florida kind of like going from California to Arizona back in university? Or was it kind of two different?
Well, it's a little bit different. Like, I'm not like in school here, and so
Yeah.
I think like being a student athlete is pretty tough in my opinion. You know, you have to like balance school and track, and like my husband played basketball in college, and they have it much harder than track athletes, but like when they go to the tournament, you know, they're gone all the time, and they still have to do school. I mean, some of them might go to the draft, so they stop going to class, but it's like it's really demanding. And even with football, you know, it's like those players are on TV all the time, and it's like they have to like uphold this image. And so I think being a student athlete's pretty tough, but transitioning here is definitely easier because I mean, my husband came with me because he like works from home, so that was easy. But if he weren't with me, it would definitely be much harder. Like being married is like having a best friend with you all the time.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? So it's just like makes everything easier. And I think that's why like twins, they transition to things so easy because it's like they have this
each other.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense actually.
It's always easier going in with like a pair or like doing something with someone else because like it's just I don't know, I guess like comfortability.
Yeah, I would say comfortability where it's like not a fallback, but like if you don't like you're going in together, you know, whatever like you be like it's like
for example, this podcast easy. Like if I don't know what to say, like you can jump in, like vice versa.
That's a good point. Like if they're like if I don't know what to say, I'm like, oh, I hope Matt's thinking about something right now to pull right after that. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it's just it's a nice fallback or like someone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like right now, like I would hope
like the difference with California and Florida is that Florida's super humid, and California is really dry. So, like at practice in California, I wouldn't really sweat, but here I'm like drenched because it's so humid. You know?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder, is that like which do you prefer? Like, do you like the humid or no? You like don't?
Well, racing in humidity is nice because you get warm really fast.
Yeah.
Like it'll be really humid. So racing there is like it's the best. When it's dry, if it's hot enough, I mean, I'm a sprinter. Distance runners probably don't want heat, but
I was just about to say.
Yeah, but if it's like 90 or like 85 in California, which Celsius might be like 30.
Yeah.
Like it's like perfect.
Huh. Wow. And just because we just passed on the topic of like kind of like you in school, I'm always curious to see how was the transition from, you know, being an athlete, like high school for like the workload, like from student wise, like workload to like training, like for track in high school. And then once you got to school, how was that? How big, like, I'm always curious to see like the transition from like senior year high school to like freshman year college.
I feel like in high school, you have less time. Like you go to school at like 8 a.m. every day or like 7:30 and then get done at 3. And like for me, at least, I did soccer and track for like my junior and senior year.
Yeah.
High school. So I would have track practice like every day. And then twice a week, I had club soccer practice in the evening. So like I would go to track practice at like 3 o'clock or 3:30 and then go straight to soccer at like 5:30. And so I went and I also like wasn't very good at math. So I had a math teacher like 3 times a week or tutor like at home.
Yeah.
I would literally go from track practice to soccer practice, and then right when I got home, I would have math tutor for like an hour and a half. And so I just feel like when you're in high school, you're doing so many activities and you're always busy. But in college, I would say you are busy, but you have more control of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like your parents are making you do anything. And so obviously you have to go to track practice and stuff, and you have to go to class. But I think you have more control over what you can do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think college might be easier in that regard.
That's wow. That's the first time I've heard an answer like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, high school, it's like you got like that set schedule, like from whatever 7 to 3, and then
School.
usually you do like way more sports then.
Yeah.
In like university. And then university, it's like a lot less class, more like after class work if you want to get those grades.
Yeah.
But not like you have to be in class from this time to this time kind of thing every single day.
Yeah, you don't even have to go to class.
Yeah. So how?
I'm serious. Like you don't like. There's high school.
There are some classes, that you don't have to.
Like high school. Like they're gonna know because they take attendance, or like some teachers will know. Like Christian, like you haven't shown up for the past week. But then in college, like no one's taking your attendance, so you don't even have to go.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your class size. Like so in college, I was a double major. I did psychology and sports management.
Nice.
And one of my sports management professors, I missed 2 classes, which you were only allowed to miss 2. And then the third time, or like when I came one day, he came up to me, and we had like 30 people in this class.
Oh,
and he was like, "Hey, if you miss another class, like you're done." And I was
what?
Like,
Wait, what does that mean? Is that a threat?
Well, I was pretty much gonna fail the class like at that point. So I was like, oh my God.
Was it like participation, like 50% of the class?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that he was really strict on attendance. I just remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does suck in a professor's point of view when like you have like no one coming to class. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like at the end of the day, they're making a lot of money for like reusing slides. Like I could make it. Like if I was a professor, I'm not taking it to offensive. Half the class doesn't want to come. You know, they just at the end of the day, they just have to get the work done.
Yeah. But I mean, it helps the student as well. Like if it reflects on them if like everyone's failing the class because no one's showing up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, best way to look at it is so after he told you that, like, what'd you do?
Oh, I went to class.
She's gonna fail, man.
Yeah, I know. I was just curious, like more so the response.
Showing up 15 minutes early to every class after that
with the apple.
I was just like, okay, but I'm not very good at like talking my way out of things, and I'm not very good at like trying to like use my words to like get what I want. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go to class. Like I'm not even gonna try to be like, hey professor, like how are you? Like I'm not good at that. I was like, I'm just gonna go to class, and he was like a funny guy. Like class wasn't boring. It was just that I think it was at a really weird time. Like maybe it was like right before my practice or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think 8 a.m. class is really hard.
So tough, man. I hate it. I hate AM class. It's like I'm not even like I'm not there. Like I'm there, but I'm not there at the same time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm just mentally I'm gone.
Are you not a morning person then? Or just not a morning class person?
Well, I'm definitely morning compared to evening. I don't know if I'm a morning or an evening person.
I agree. You know what? That makes sense. Like she's not like too much of a morning person, but like
it's a normal.
Yeah.
Normal time.
Yeah.
Like
true.
I'm tired like most of the time. Just because like I'm always
doing something.
You know what I mean? Like I'm always tired. Yeah. But I'm definitely not evening. Like in the evening if I try to work on stuff, I like literally I'm like falling asleep. But in college I was not a morning person because we would have practice at like 5 a.m. sometimes, and
To run track and field 5 a.m.?
That was just lifting.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we would never wake up that early and sprint.
I was just about to say, that's nuts.
Yeah. We would do like conditioning in the fall, like fall training, but never sprinting. But
got it.
Yeah, we would have like weightlifting at like 5 or 6 in the morning. And then, you got to go to an 8 a.m. And then usually if we did have lifting in the morning, we would have like track practice in the afternoon. So yeah, so that was only like 3 times a week, but yeah, so like then you go to your 8 a.m. and you're like sweaty and tired, and it's just like
ready to go back to bed.
Kids just are like pulling in late from like waking out of bed, and you're like, I've been up for 3.5 hours. I've squatted 225. Like, what have you done? Like, and they're complaining like, oh, it was so tough to get here tomorrow. And you're looking over like, really, it's been tough for you to get here. That's funny.
That's funny. So did you what'd you like better than Berkeley or Arizona? I'm assuming Arizona since you transferred there, but
well, so I loved the school. Like I loved Berkeley as the school.
Yeah.
And my dad went there, so he was just really like keen on me going there. And like the Bay Area is amazing. Like you have San Francisco, and like Oakland has really cool areas, and like Berkeley, the city is like awesome. But the coach like at the program just like didn't fit. We didn't fit. And so it was like, okay, I could either stay here, get my degree and like quit track, or, I can transfer. And like in hindsight, I'm like, you can go to school, get your degree, and if you want to run professionally, then just get a professional coach like when you're done with school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the end if it doesn't work out in college. Like there's a lot of people who like run in college, maybe they're not an NCAA champion, or maybe they don't even make the NCAA championships. Like I know people who ran D2 and then they're pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's one girl that runs the 400. Her name's Quinera Hayes. She ran like D2 or D3, and she runs 49 in the 400. So, she's professional. Yeah, she was sponsored. I don't know if she still is, but she's with Nike. And so it's just like, I think a lot of people think, okay, if this person did it this way, like they went D1 and now they're with Nike or Adidas, they feel like this is the only way.
Yeah.
But that's definitely not the case. And so in hindsight, I'm kind of like, I could have gone to Berkeley, got my degree, and then kept doing track. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I also am like a firm believer in like things work out how they should. And when I went to Arizona, like that's how I met my husband. You know what I mean? So I probably wouldn't have met him. You know what I mean? And so it's just like Arizona was great, and I think the athletic department there is like amazing. And they really care about you as a person. They have this thing called CATS academics, and it's really just trying to like get you to succeed academically so that when you graduate, you're kind of like set up to go on to the next thing, and Berkeley as a school was super awesome, like as a school, but I don't know about like athletically.
Yeah. It's tough. A lot of those like schools that are good at like academics are not the greatest like athletic, and it's like the money has to go somewhere, right? So they usually put it one above the other. But so after college, how like tell us about your accomplishments and like how did you got a professional coach? Did you have the same coach that from university at Arizona, or did you get a new one?
No, so I trained with my college coach for 1 year.
Okay.
After I graduated, and I didn't really I didn't run a PR that year. I went to Italian championships that year, and I made the final, and then I false started. So, and I'm like, how do you like false start in the 400? Well, it happened. And yeah,
you
I was
just get one
really
and you're out. If you false start once, are you out?
Yeah, that's the rule now.
Oh.
What? So, bro, that sucks. Yeah. That's not even fair.
Yeah.
That's not even, no, I'm going to be mad. That's not even fair.
Yeah. And I was like, I was ready, you know, and I definitely like placed 1, 2, or 3 in that race. And then, so that ended like 2017 on like a really bad note. Then my husband got a job in LA, and so I was like, let's move. So I moved. I found a coach in Los Angeles, and I really approached that year with like totally blank canvas, and I ended up running like more than like a half second better. And that year I came in second at Italian championships, and that was the first year I made like the national team in 2018. And we went to European champs because that was an off year, but not for like Europeans. And then 2019, I was Italian champion in the 400. So the year before I came in second, then 2019, I was first. And it was so funny because the night before, I was like, well, I could for sure come in second. And I said that to Corey, my husband, and he was just like, whoa, okay, we need to like reevaluate this, and you need to like race to win.
Yeah.
And he was just like, we're not like going into this race thinking like I'm going to come in second. So the night before, I'm like changing it, and I'm changing my thinking. And my coach was just like, you're going to have to go out harder than, because I'm kind of like a chill 400-meter runner. I have like a really good finish, but my starts are not great. So he was like, you're going to have it left in the tank, but you got to be at the 300 with everybody and kind of like surprise everybody. And so, because like racing is so mental, you know, like
so mental
next to you and you don't expect them to be there, you might freak out, or you might, if you're a really poised runner, you might just stick with the program. But so when I was at the 300, I was like, I'm going to be even with like the main girl I was competing with. And at that point, I was just like thinking about like arms, finishing, and like thinking about like, you know, I'm going to win. First place is like the reason why I'm doing this race. And yeah, I ended up winning. And so like that was like a really big deal for me, because 3 years prior, I didn't make the final.
Yeah.
2 years prior, I false started.
That sucks.
And then the year prior, I was second, and I really could have won. And then last year, I won. And so, and then that year, we went to World Champs, and at World Relays, as a 4x4, we came in third, which was like super cool, because the night before I said to my teammate, like, what are the chances of us like winning a medal? And she was like, I don't think so. And then we came in third.
The mindsets, you got to put it, you have to, that's something I believe in too, that you really believe in. You got to like speak into existence for it. You got to manifestation. That's a good word. That's something you really got to like truly like believe in order to like get somewhere. You don't get somewhere from like thinking like, yeah, I always thought I could have done this. Like, you're like, no, I was going to do this.
Yeah. And like daily affirmations, cheesy, but they work, you know?
That's true.
It also keeps you like motivated. If like sometimes I'm going to say this like every single podcast, but like,
what are you going to say?
When you're climbing a mountain.
Oh my God. I should have known. Okay. That's a great, I love it.
When you're climbing a mountain, like you only see your feet in front of you, and you don't really look back, and like you're just working, right? You're just getting up the mountain. But like every once in a while you should like take a second and look back at the view, and like look at what you're doing, and like look at what you've done so far and how like far you could still go. But like don't be looking at it too long, or else like you'll be stuck, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing, where like you manifest something, or like you know where you can go somewhere, but you have to just put in the work, and it'll eventually just come.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool. So the last race you did was the 4x400 last year?
Technically, yeah, like at World Champs. Yeah, 4x4. Yeah.
What was your favorite moment in like all of running? I know that's like, I asked like everyone this, but it's like really generic, but like if there's one moment It doesn't even have to be like professionally. Maybe growing up, was there ever one race that you just like you're never gonna feel like that was like the best moment?
I don't know if there's like a best moment,
Okay.
but I remember in high school, um, I don't know if you're familiar with like California, but we have this thing called CIF.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was running the 200 and the 100 and the 4x1 and the 4x4.
Okay.
This was my senior year. And Modern Day was Division 2 at the time, which is like high school. It's just based on like school population.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we won CIF champs for Division 2 women that year. And that year I came in second in the 100 and I ran a PB, and then first in the 200 and I ran a huge 200 PB.
Wow.
And then our 4x1, I don't know what place we came in, but we scored. And then 4x4, we won. And I split like 54, which was like fast for like high school, you know?
Yeah, it's very fast.
It's like not fast now, but yeah. And so like I was just like, that was like when I really fell in love with track. I mean, obviously when things are going well,
It makes it easier. Yeah.
But like that's when I was like, you know, I barely went to track practice this year and I'm still running like decent times. I could probably be good at this, you know? And so I think that like really stood out to me. And I scored a lot of points that meet for my school. So it was like pretty special.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, that's cool. So what are your kind of like short-term and long-term goals like now? I guess given the situation, but also like forget about the situation like COVID.
Yeah. Well, definitely like making the Olympic team.
Yeah.
You know, the Olympic standard in the 4 is 51:35.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like my goal is to run the Olympic standard. And our 4x4 is pretty good. And so like a goal that I would have for our relay team would be like make the Olympic final.
Nice.
And like, you know, everybody's going to be in amazing shape, but really just seeing what we can do. Like if we placed top 3 at World Relays, I feel like we could have a chance at winning a medal if we're all on the same page. Yeah. And so, yeah, like making the Olympic final. And now they have the mixed relay.
Really?
Wait, what?
Have you seen that yet?
No. Wait, what mixed relay?
Yeah, so the mixed relay, it's 2 women, 2 men. It's going to be in the Olympics.
Is that like new? Like this is going to be the first Olympics with it?
The first Olympics, but they had it at World Relays last year.
Did you compete in it? Did you compete in it?
Yeah, so at World Relays, I competed in the semifinal, and then the next day I ran on the women's 4x4 final, so I didn't run on the mixed relay final. But yeah, they had it, and it's at first I was like, this is kind of weird, but then when I did it, I was like, this is a lot of fun.
Question.
Because
actually, no. Finish what you just were about to say.
Well, because you can pick your order. So
that was my question.
Yeah. So like and it's like go anywhere. So like Team USA, they did in the race that I was in, they did women, man, women, man. But everybody did like man, women, man. Like that was the
start and end.
Start and end.
And then
so yeah, that's gonna be in the Olympics this year.
That's pretty sick.
I'm gonna watch that.
Same. I'm curious. I'm gonna search it up on highlights or something. I want to see something. That's sick.
Yeah. So when I raced in Yokohama last year, I was second leg, and Team USA had their guy on second, and we were super far ahead because the guy who ran first leg for Team Italy in that race was really good. I think his PB is like 44 something. I can't remember.
Holy shit.
So he's pretty good. And so we were super far ahead. And the whole time I was thinking, oh my God, I can't let the guy get me. Like, because I had like a 50-meter lead, but he never caught me. But if you watch the video, he comes around that turn so fast, and it's like all women, and then it's just like him chasing us. It's pretty cool.
That's I
cool.
genuinely want to watch. Wow.
Yeah. So another goal would be like mixed relay, you know, making an Olympic final as well.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
But I'm like a super big believer on, you know, like focusing on the process, and obviously is a very outcome based sport.
Yeah.
You know, like you have a time or place that you want to get, but it's like if you're so fixated on the time,
Yeah.
like it takes away from the practice almost. Like
Yeah.
in practice, if you're working on form or something, sometimes you have to like compensate the time in practice, you know, because you got to go slow just a little bit to like get that benefit of technique. And then when you get the technique, you can speed it up, you know? Yeah. So like, those are like my really big goals. I guess they're short and long term. So,
what about anything? No, those are great goals. Obviously the Olympics.
Yeah, seriously.
Phenomenal. Like I don't think you can have a bigger
Take it
goal
better than that.
What about like any goals, short term and long term, like outside of track and field? Just in life.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to start like getting my business platform where I want it to be. And I really want to work with women that are runners. And I feel like there's kind of like a void that needs to be filled in terms of like mindset. Because like mindset and like psychology is like kind of like my passion.
Yeah.
And if school weren't so expensive, I'd probably go back to school.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least in the States, it's so expensive.
Dumb expensive.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I really want to work in that area. And so like getting kind of like this running business off the ground. There's this one lady that I've had a conversation with. Her thing is called What Runs You. And on TikTok, she's built like this massive community. She has like 230K followers on TikTok. And I like DM'd her because I was like, I like want to do what you do. And we had like a really good 45-minute conversation. And she was really funny. She was like, you know, I'm just like Jenny from the block. Like I just started doing this, and TikTok like helped a lot, obviously. But she was like, you're like training for the Olympics, and you know, you could really make like an impact in this area. And so like that's like one of my goals is doing that. And like I really want to work specifically like with women, but obviously I'm open to like working with men too. but like yeah, so, and I'm not going to get political or anything, but
no politics on this podcast, man. None.
We're from Canada, so
we're from Canada.
Speak your mind on any.
Seriously, man, we don't. Yeah.
Like Kamala Harris, she did an interview and she was like, you know, I've been told no so many times in my life. And she was like, I eat no for breakfast. And I was just like, okay, I really like this. I was like, I really like how she was like, I eat no for breakfast, you know, because it's like you're always going to be told no, and someone's always going to say, like, this isn't for you. You know what I mean?
Always. I feel like that's like every week I'm hearing that from someone, you know, like it's just such a it's easy for people to hate and say no to something than it is. And then it is for people to accept something and say yes. Yes,
for sure. And so I just think like no matter what, like your belief has to be so strong in what you want to do. And it's like, you know, like racehorses, when they race, they've got those blinders. It's like that's kind of how you have to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like they're only looking forward. Occasionally like you can look to the side and stuff, but like you gotta be like so adamant about your goal and like believing in yourself.
How do you, for I guess like the younger viewers watching, how would like younger runners trying to become like track and field athletes, cross country athletes, handling disappointment, how to keep going? Any thoughts on that kind of topic?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're young, you kind of feel like something happens and like I don't want to say the mind is so small, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just like you don't try to think about like outside of what's happening to you.
Yeah.
And so I think like handling like disappointment when you're young, it's just like you still have so many years ahead of you, and it's never like the end. It's never the end of that for you. You know what I mean? Like, especially with track, it's like a sport where you can grow a lot.
Yeah.
Sports, like, I mean, you can grow in any sport, but like my husband played basketball and he's like, it's a very skilled sport, like skill-based sport. And sometimes like when you go from college to like the NBA or to the pros, you don't see people really progress a lot. A select few do, but I think with track, if you keep like developing yourself, and there's always something to work on, like in the 800, like if your first lap sucks, then you can keep working on that. You know what I mean? And it's like, if your second lap is not that great, you just keep working on it. And it's like, every year you can keep building. And like, I think that's what is so great about track compared to like other sports.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's so much room to improve, just overall. And I think track is like, there's been like, it's just for the point of like a lot of the athletes started so late, and just were like kind of got into it in like high school, then like started super young. It just goes to show you like how much you're able to like grow in such like either a short amount of time, or if you put in the work, like you can be faster than someone that started earlier than you, than like if you just put in the work like over the next year after college kind of thing. So yeah, great advice. I loved your goals both on and off the track. And overall phenomenal podcast.
Fantastic.
We have a little like last round here. We call it the speed round. We got a few questions that we're just going to throw at you. You give us your first answer.
First thing on top of your head.
And then the last one's a little long. You can take your time for that, but yeah, we'll get started with that.
Okay,
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Okay. All right. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Okay. Favorite cheat meal?
Oh, gelato.
Okay, no, that counts.
Biggest fear?
Fear of not reaching my potential.
That's a good one. Celebrity crush?
Oh, don't have one.
Okay.
Favorite clothing brand?
Oh boy. I'm gonna have to go with Rag and Bone.
Ooh, okay, like that. Favorite music artist?
I really like Future.
Nice. Nice.
Biggest running myth?
That it's only for select people. That's a myth.
That's a good one. Guilty pleasure?
Eating potato chips or anything salty.
Okay. Follow-up question, because we're big, like we love chips. What's your favorite chip?
Flavor.
Brand and flavor.
This is like healthy, but it's called like Terra something, and it's like roasted vegetable chips.
Such an Olympic athlete answer. That's such a typical Olympic athlete. Okay, no, that's okay. Love that. I think you're up.
All right. If you could travel to any place in the world, where would it be? If you could only travel to one, like this place.
Oh, only this place?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with maybe like Bali.
Nice answer. Okay, now this one is like you can take like a little time to think. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive. Man.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's really tough. I've never like thought about this on my own time.
Yeah.
Well, what are your answers?
You want to go yours first?
His is Justin Bieber.
Okay, can I explain why? Like everyone get like so I say Justin Bieber just because he's been through like at 12 years old he was a megastar, right? Hanging out with like Usher, like traveling, doing all this at 12. Like no 12-year-old.
Like you think he was 12?
You've been 10.
No, older.
No, when he was popping off
or something.
No, dude, he was like 12 when he was doing duets with Usher, like videos of
12. Anyways, he was young.
Okay, really young, elementary school young. I would ask him questions like about his life, like because he went through stuff like no other kid, you know what I mean, like did. So I would be, and even like now at the point in his life, like he seems like he's like happy and stuff. I just would ask him like, yo, like how was your life? You know, like I would just like want to know what went through his like this. Yeah, that'd be mine.
No, sure, that's a good answer.
Thank you. He made fun of me for it. Thank you.
I think no. I mean, I didn't make fun of you.
Other people have, yes.
I think mine would be my my dad's dad because I never got to meet him, but just my dad's parents because I never got to meet them. But like I'm close relationship with my dad, and like I think he's got a lot of like stuff from his parents. So yeah. I have both my non on my mom's side, but that would be my answer.
It's a good one too.
A really good answer. I've never met my my Italian grandpa, but I've met my Italian grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I'm up now. I would like have to look at like who I'm following on Instagram. So like
Okay. That's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say definitely would like to meet Sophia Bush. Do you know who that is?
No.
So she was on the TV show like OC. You know that show?
The OC?
The OC, yeah.
I've heard of that. But what's OC stand for?
Orange County.
Okay.
That's where I grew up in California. Mm-hmm. And it's very like posh. It's very posh. And she was on the OC, which was like a reality TV show on Orange County. Mm-hmm. But now she's like a huge activist, and she's just this really awesome person, and she has a really cool podcast. And so I would like to meet her, but I don't know if there's somebody that I'm like, I would want to have dinner with them, you know?
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair.
I'm not like a fangirl.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, he's fanboy.
Dude.
He's fanboy.
I'm a fanboy. Straight up. If Justin Bieber's listening to this, let's get steak.
Let's get steak.
Is he like vegan now or something?
You can get the vegan option. I'll have the steak. That would be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the end of the speed round. Yeah, I appreciate your time so much. Like, it was a phenomenal podcast. Really outgoing. Love like your kind of trajectory and thoughts and views on life, mm-hmm. Both on and off the track. Do you have anything that you want to kind of shout out?
Shout out to California and
nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and you're hosting a event with us on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
A virtual event. If you guys listen to this, sign up for a virtual event. It should be live soon on the website. New Year's Eve run.
Yep.
Kind of end your year off right and start your next year off right.
Perfect, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Reboot.
Yeah, reboot. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I mean, this was really fun. I love the speed round. That was great.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much. We'll stay in touch. And if you need any help with like TikTok or anything, hit us up.
Yeah.
We got a few followers on there. OpenRace got like 17K.
17K, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, nice.
So if you're trying to get onto that, we'll help you out.
All right. Sounds good.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Bye.
See ya.